Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. So today we're going to make a journal that has a hidden spine, and I'll show you guys what that means. I'll show you what my original or what my regular spines usually look like. So this is what the spine looks like on one of my other journals. You can see all of the stitching on the outside of the journal. So today we're going to make one with a hidden spine. So the spine is going to be tucked into the book, and you won't be able to see that it's stitched together like this, right? So I've done this before. I think this probably was the first way that I learned to make junk journals, but basically it's just a piece of cardboard wrapped in fabric, and this is just wrapped in a soft felty type of fabric, and I just punched my holes in there already with my crocodile. So basically I'm doing 2 signatures in this very small spine. It measures just over an inch, so about 1 1/8 inches. So I know that I can fit 2 signatures on there. Okay, so I've already threaded my thread, and this is just some wax floss, and I punched the holes in the spine of my signatures already. And this is just some faux coffee dyed and tea dyed paper, as well as some very pretty paper that I received from one of you subscribers, Azulega. And yeah, so basically she sent me some of this paper that's coffee dyed with some it looks like maybe some lace was placed on top of it. Here is another sheet where it looks like maybe a doily or some lace was placed on there. And then I have just some generic faux coffee stained or coffee dyed pages. So it's about 10 sheets in each one of these signatures, and I'm going to start in the back. So this would be the front of the book, and this will be the back of the book. So I'm going to start back here with this second hole here in the middle, and I'm just going to go ahead and thread this through. Now we all know how to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It's really no different than we've done in the past, and I've measured my thread, 3 times the length of the book, or the height of the book. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just 1 second. So this right here is a little bit easier, I think, than having to hold the entire book in your hand and juggle it while you're stitching it together. But this is what I mean by 3 times the height of the book. So here's my thread. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is the thread. It's just 3 times the height of the book. Okay, so that's what I cut off with just a little bit extra. It's not exactly 3 times, it's a little bit more, but it's all good. I mean, you can figure that out. So now I'm just evening up the thread so that I can tie this off. And yep, that's about even. And I'm going to place one side of the thread on one side of this bridge right here, and the other side on the opposite side of the bridge, so give us this right here, and then we can tie it. Okay, let me just make sure that everything's still even. You want to pull it taut but not tearing, because it will tear your pages, your upper holes, if you pull it too tight. And I'm doing a lock knot, so that's one right over left, and then the other left over right, and tying that down. And then you're left with this. So you can either save this section to do like a little jewelry you can hang off there, or you can cut it away and keep it real close to the center. Or I sometimes just tie a bow right here in the middle of the signature, which is so much easier, and it still looks very pretty. Okay, so that's that on this section of the inner spine. So let's do the other one, which is exactly the same. I'm going to thread put my thread through the needle, and this is a darning needle. It doesn't hurt, it's very dull at the point, so that's why we use a darning needle, so that it's a little bit bigger. The eye of the needle is a little bit bigger, and you can pick these up anywhere. Basically, I think I got this entire thing at Walmart for about a couple of bucks. So I'm then going to go up here to the upper hole of the signature. And I think this way is a little bit, it's a little bit more forgiving. If you were to let your spine be shown, everything would have to be so perfect, right? And it just, I am a nervous wreck when I'm punching holes in paper because I want it to be perfect. I want it to look good, seeing that it's going to be on the outside and everyone can see that. So you try really hard to, like, you clip all your pages together, and this right here is a little bit more freely put together. And once you get your holes on all the pages, you can just always just line them back up. I'm not clipping anything together. This spine is going to be so hidden, no one will know that this has a 3-hole pamphlet stitch on it. So yeah, it's just so much more convenient to do it this way. And the reason we use a darning needle is so that you don't accidentally thread your thread. Because if the needle was pointy, you'd probably run it through and here in the center, thread the thread. Okay, so, and I've done that before. So here's my center of the signature, and I'm gonna do another lock knot, and this is what we have left. So I'll just tie this up. Now I did flip this over while I was threading it, so I know this is my top and then this is the bottom. Okay, so now we have this, and it's hidden. No one will see this. This is so cool. Quickly putting together a journal. So this is what I'm going to do for my cover. So here's my, okay, 2 signatures in there. This is my cover. I am going to use first I'm going to use my mat to measure where I'm placing this. This is just 3 pieces of cardboard, or I guess it's more like, what's the word? It's not exactly cardboard, but it's not like corrugated cardboard that you would use from a box or anything like that, but it is cardboard sort of material, I guess, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm just lining these 3 pieces together, lining them up on my mat and putting about 1/8 of an inch between each piece. Okay, so I guess you guys can probably see that there's about 1/8 of an inch in between each section, and I'm using my bookbinding tape to tape these sections together. So this is what book-bound tape looks like. Okay, and I'm just going to measure, and I'm going to measure double so that I can wrap the whole thing on one piece of tape. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here is the one side, and it's okay if it shifts a little bit. Just make sure that you always have about 1/8 of an inch, so that the book can open and close. Okay, so here I'm going to pick this up, flip it over, and this is what I mean by pulling a double amount of tape. Okay, so there's that section, and yes, my book can still, the spine will still be able to bend, and I'll just snip off the excess right along there. So about that much is wasted, not a big deal. Alright, so now let's line this back up again, and we'll do the same thing for the left side of the book, which is now the cover. So again, I'm just pulling double the amount of the tape, the height of the book, and again 1/8 of an inch away, so that the book can fold. Okay, so there's that side and that side, and then I'll flip it over and we'll tape it up. Now you can use more tape, less tape if you feel it's necessary, but I think this should be enough to hold everything together. And I'll just put a little piece right here to close that little section up. This will never be seen, honestly. To be perfectly honest, this will never be seen because we're going to cover this entire thing. All right. So now we have this. And so this is our front of our book. This will be the back cover of the book. And all of that holds this right here in the middle. So that'll all be covered up just like so. So before we even make any adjustments to the paper, we would wrap the book, the cover of the book, because all of this needs to be cut away, right? This is all my excess on the signatures. These all need to be evened up and cut away. So we'll do that at the end after we've wrapped this book up. So I'm just going to go pick some pretty paper. And I'm sorry, not pretty paper. I'm going to use some pretty fabric and to cover this up. So I'll be back in 2 ticks. Alright, so really quickly I just want to show you guys my new fabric stash. They're very pretty and coordinating, I think. This is the latest collection of Crafty Square fabric from the dollar store. Okay, you guys, you don't have to spend a lot of money. I've said it 1,000 times. You don't have to spend a lot of money to craft. This is $1.25 and it measures 18 by 21 inches. So that's more than enough to cover the book that we're making today. And it's very pretty. I mean, there's just, this right here is actually totally different. I've never felt anything like this coming from Crafty Square before, but this feels really nice. It's a very much thicker fabric than any of the others that I've used from Crafty Square. It's a little juvenile. This obviously is a little juvenile, but again, just keep your eye out at your local Dollar Tree. They have a brand new collection of fabrics to use in your crafting. This one's also very pretty. I'm not going to open them all up, but we do have to get on with making the book. But this is very pretty, very fall-esque. What else? Oh, this one's also very pretty. Again, another thicker material is some bucks and what is that? Oh yeah, just a bunch of bucks and deer on this one. Here's a very nice one. I think I may be using this. This is craft fabric. It's not by Crafty Square. It's by Birch and Vine, but it's $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. Just look out for this different labeling. Again, here's another one, craft fabric by Birch and Vine for $1.25, guys. You guys can totally you know, just get a piece of fabric and cover your book. It's not that big of a deal. It's so inexpensive. This is a pretty one as well. Oh, so is this. But yeah, you can see how they are somewhat coordinating the color schemes that they've brought out now. So you can do something like that or whatever. So I think I'm going to use this one to cover. I don't even know what it looks like yet, but oops, there goes all my fabric. I'm going to use this one. I don't know what this one looks like. I may change my mind. You never know. So, but just going by what it looked like wrapped up, I think this would be so cute. Okay, yes, I'm going to use this pretty fabric right here to cover the book. And it's really the same steps that we've always taken in the past to cover our books. Try to get it close to the edges as possible so that you are not wasting too much of your fabric, and you can always use more or less of it on other projects as well. So yeah, I just really want to get like an inch all the way around. So here, I'll slide it this way. So I'm getting about an inch of fabric on the inside of the cover. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this like right now. I'm going to use my Zoic rotary tool. I love this little thing. It's super convenient. And yep, I'm just lining everything up to make sure I have about an inch all the way around. So I'm using the measurements on the mat down here. You won't be able to see that section, but Just know that I am using the mat's measurements to give me that inch that I'm looking for on this side. Okay, so there's that, and yes, there's about an inch over here as well. And I'll rotate the whole thing this way to get about an inch off the top also. So here I'm just, oh, you can't see that, but I'll just slide this up a little. Here I'm just using the measurements on the mat itself. So, okay, now slide it down. Alright, so that's that, and we have plenty of fabric left over to do other things with. Okay, so now that we're done with that, it's the same steps and processes, guys. We're just going to get our cover as flat as possible, put some glue on the outside or the inside of the fabric, and this is just the way I do it. You don't have to do it this way. I like to adjust my cover just by adding some tacky glue or some glue stick onto the fabric, and then opening up the cover and laying it down flat and maneuvering it if I need to. And if not, then I'll flip it over and do the other side, because you just never know with your fabric if it's going to be wrinkly or you know, has some give or some pull to it. So I just try to just figure out the location of the cover, and then I'll do my smoothing out of the fabric on the other side. So there's that. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but I certainly can. I can see through this fabric. I can see that there's some spinage, some book taping here and whatnot. What I want to do to cover that up, I don't know. Let's pull this away for now. I may paint this to get it all one color, because the tape can be seen on the other side, oh, through the fabric. Let me grab some paint. So this is now painted and it's covered fairly decent. I mean, I'm not going to add another coat or anything to it, but once I do add the fabric over it, you really can't see the difference between the tape and the cardboard, as opposed to this side where I can see it. I don't know if you can, but here's the tape running down the middle. You saw me paint it. So yeah, let's just work on this right here. I'm going to do the exact same thing as before. I'm going to add my glue, just the temporary glue, to get it started, and then we'll work on the positioning of it in just a moment. This is just the way I do it. You don't have to waste this step or do this step at all, or waste the glue, and you can just go ahead and glue it in and be done with it. I just like to position my book accordingly, and this is the way I do it, just so I can get a feel for where it's going to be long term. So yeah, and then I'll flip it over and I'll pull it all tight and make sure that everything is nice and secured with some permanent glue. So let's see. All right. Yeah, this looks so much better on the side with the tape not showing and the cardboard is painted. Okay, so I can see I have a little bit more here at the bottom than at the top, so I'm just gonna stretch this a little. And that's the whole purpose of using a repositionable glue initially. And then I'm going to cover in here with some probably some paper. You can use fabric if you like, but I'm going to use paper. This is the pattern paper that I've chosen. I'm just going to put it down corner to corner and fill in the other areas. Let me see if I even need to down here. Okay, so I can pull this down slightly. I'll do this end and then fill in this end over here with another sheet of this same pattern paper. Okay, you really cannot see through the paper, which I like. and it gives it good coverage. So I'll just grab another sheet, and yeah, I'll just fill it in with that. Let me grab a pair of scissors. I'll just cut it with these pinking shears. Really does not matter because you won't see this at all. It'll all be covered up by the fabric. So, yep. So I'm just going to glue this down on the inside here. It'll all be fine, trust me. Because more than likely I'll probably do a pocket on the inside cover of this book, and you won't even know that it's been patched together. Okay, so I have my repositionable tape glue on the back here. I'm just going to add some Fabrifix right along the edges where the book cover would come to, and then a little bit through the middle. You don't want too much of glue in the middle because it does get lumpy, and we want to get this as smooth as possible. And before I rotate this, before I glue down the paper, I'm just going to flip the whole thing over and smooth it all out. Anyway, guys, I know it's been a pretty simple day. No complaints from me, but I just wondered what you guys were up to in your crafting spaces. So yeah, I do hope y'all are having a great day. But yeah, I'm just smoothing out the glue, and we will, so let's go ahead and glue down our page here. Now I know that I do not need that much at the top and the bottom, so just use a little bit of Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac glue because that's what we've got, and it's ready to go. Just place that right there, and I'll overlap the other page all around here. And this, we do want glue in the middle because it is just paper, so we don't want it tearing or separating. And I want to get it all the way to the edges here and there. Okay. And I'm just going to place this down right about here, lining it up with the other sheet and smoothing it all out. Yeah, it's been a pretty slow day here on my side. I'm just, I've been holding on to this project for a little while, just trying to figure out when I was going to do the video for y'all, but I've been staring at this cardboard sitting on my desk for a while, so yeah, I just figured I will do it today. So now what we want to do is test our creases so that the page does not buckle. You see that little buckle right there? We want to get all that smooth out. So we're going to test the crease, fold it over, smooth out all of the buckling that it will do, and get everything nice and smooth. Test this crease. There's another little buckle. Yep. And then smooth it all out so that the page is nice and flush on to the edges. So there's that one and that one, and I think that's good. Yep. Okay. Alright, so now I'm just going to use my Fabri-Tac glue to glue down the corners. So I'm not going to cut away any of the excess as I normally do. I'm just going to fold in these corners, get it nice and taut right here, and do a little, I think they call this a blanket tuck or a blanket fold. But yep, we're going to get some 90-degree angles up here and over here by tucking in these corners on an angle, and I'm going to do the same thing down here at the bottom and this corner as well, and we have enough to tuck in. But you want to make sure that you have yourself a 90-degree angle on both sides of the fabric, so that when you do fold over the other sections, you don't have that bulk that we always try to avoid by cutting away the angle. So what I'll do now is just fold up this section, and with my perfect angles, all of this will just disappear. So I'm just going to get a little bit of glue down here at the bottom, and then we'll do the sides and the top. So yeah, all of this will just disappear. That's just so perfect. It's just so perfect. All right, and we'll do the top as well. Now when you're using a wet glue like Fabri-Tac, you gotta often lift your page, your book up, because it will stick to your desk while the glue is still wet, you know. So yeah, just constantly lift up your book so that the glue underneath the fabric does not stick to the desk or your surface. But other than that, I think we're almost ready to assemble the rest of the book. And let's do this corner, this side of the book over here, and then we'll do the other side. So guys, yeah, I hope you guys are having a super crafty day, you know, crafting in your crafting spaces. It's just a really dull day over here. I'm in Florida, and the weather's changing. We're having a cold front coming through, so I love it. I love the colder weather than the hotter weather. I was just talking to someone about that today, and yeah, I just prefer the cooler temperatures than the hot Florida humidity. And so yeah, it's just a really nice mellow day over here as the weather is changing, but I prefer it. I prefer what it's changing into. I'm really happy about it actually, but it's just not a bright sunny day like it normally is, and so yeah, it's a little dull outside. But we have ourselves a little book cover here, and the hardest part at this point is just to get everything nice and secure and dried. But this is probably the fastest I've ever made a junk journal, because why? I don't have to fuss around with my signatures now. It's already done, like a little dab of glue, and we have ourselves a book, right? Like, the signature is tucked in, the spine is hidden. It's just, isn't that just so fabulously easy? The only thing I do have to worry about now is cutting off my sides here to even up the pages, but I'll do that after all of this is dry. But I just wanted you guys to see that there are alternatives to making junk journal covers, and a hidden spine is always a way to go, especially when if you don't want to see the stitching on the outside. If your fabric is so pretty that you just don't want to cover any of it up with the spine or the stitching on the outside, this is just another way to make a junk journal. All right, so I know you guys didn't see me make this part. Again, it's just a piece of cardboard wrapped in some black felty fabric. It's been sitting on my desk for so long, I figured I gotta do this video now or never. So here you guys go. This is just a junk journal with a hidden spine. My fabric is perfectly wrapped around the outside. I love it. I love this fabric, and it's non-directional, so this could be your top or this could be the top. Either one could be the front or the back of the book. It doesn't really matter at this point because we've done nothing but cover up the inside. I'm gonna let all of this dry, and then I'll assemble the pages later on, maybe tomorrow. I just want this to dry all the way before I do. And yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you guys have a magnificent day. Go do something wonderful. Do it inside if you can. Crafting is always a fun indoor project. Do something on the inside. You don't have to go out and and fear the weather. All right, so I'll definitely talk to you guys in the next video. Hope you guys stay naturally curious. Don't forget to check out my one link down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you who do subscribe and watch my videos. So I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye.